Take a moment to really study this image. Feel anything? What about this one? How does it make you feel? Uneasy? Nervous? Disturbed? That would be the correct answer, and you're not alone. You're experiencing the phenomenon known as the Uncanny Valley, a deep instinctive discomfort triggered when we see something that looks almost human, but not quite. In this video, we're going to break down what the Uncanny Valley actually is, why we feel this visceral fear, and the most unsettling theories behind its existence. Some believe the sensation comes from an ancient creature, one that lived alongside early humans by mimicking our appearance just closely enough to deceive us. And after researching this topic, I've reached a deeply disturbing conclusion. Whatever triggered this instinct may not be gone. It may still be out there. Without further delay, let's dive into the Uncanny Valley Explained. What is the Uncanny Valley? The Uncanny Valley is a psychological phenomenon describing the intense discomfort humans feel when encountering something that looks almost human, close enough to resemble us, yet different enough to trigger instinctive fear. This reaction isn't mild discomfort, it's a deep primal alarm. Our brains immediately recognize that something is wrong, even if we can't articulate why. The skin texture, the eye spacing, the posture, subtle deviations create a silent tension that our minds interpret as danger. It feels ancient, automatic, and deeply rooted in our biology. Researchers have proposed countless explanations, from evolutionary psychology to cognitive science. But the most unsettling theory is also the simplest. We learned to fear things that imitated us. Early humans wouldn't develop such a powerful instinct without reason. If our ancestors instinctively avoided almost humans, something in their environment must have posed a real threat, something that copied our appearance with disturbing accuracy. This theory suggests it wasn't dolls or masks that shaped our instincts, it was a predator. And here's where things become truly chilling. Our fear response toward uncanny faces is immediate and universal, appearing across all cultures, ages, and environments. Even a baby exhibits this fear. It behaves less like a learned reaction, more like an inherited warning, similar to the instinctive fear of snakes or heights. This implies that whatever triggered the Uncanny Valley in the first place was dangerous enough, persistent enough, and predatory enough to carve itself into human evolution. Now we'll look into some of the leading logical scientific explanations researchers have proposed, and why none of them fully resolve the unsettling truth behind the Uncanny Valley. One major theory is the challenge to human identity. When something looks almost human, it threatens the clear mental boundary we rely on to separate us from not us. Highly human-like robots, dolls, or CGI faces unsettle us because they blur this line, forcing us to question the uniqueness of our own identity. The closer something gets to humanity without quite becoming human, the more it shakes the foundation of who we are and what it means to be alive. Another explanation focuses on perceptual conflict. The human brain is wired to detect consistency. Appearance, sound, movement, and expression are all supposed to match. When something looks human but moves like a puppet, speaks with a synthetic voice, or displays unnatural microexpressions, the brain panics. It can't categorize what it's seeing. This mismatch creates cognitive dissonance, an internal mental alarm that something is wrong, even if we don't consciously understand why. The most survival-based idea is the disease and death avoidance theory. Throughout human history, anything that looks sick, dead, or severely deformed signaled danger, pathogens, infection, or predators. Uncanny faces resemble those visual cues. Pale skin, stiff movement, and motionless eyes. These traits activate a primal avoidance reflex, the same instinct that kept our ancestors alive by warning them to stay away from corpses, illness, and decay. Then there's the most controversial explanation of all: ancient hominin encounters. Early Homo sapiens once shared the earth with other human-like species, Neanderthals, Denisovans, and possibly others lost to time. They looked almost human but not identical. Some researchers speculate that our fear response may be the adaptive echo of these interactions. Avoiding or fleeing from almost humans could have been a survival advantage, reinforcing our genetic separation and protecting resources. This suggests that the Uncanny Valley may not be psychological at all, and may be historical. Some studies even suggest that animals display Uncanny Valley-like reactions. But here lies a problem. Animals rely on smell, pheromones, and acoustic cues far more than vision. A cat seeing a stuffed cat won't recognize it, because it doesn't smell like anything alive. This means scientific tests are inconclusive and can't easily compare animal instincts to human instinct. Whatever created the uncanny valley response seems far more deeply rooted in human perception than in non-human species. Finally, some neuroscientists propose a memory mismatch theory. We spend our entire lives reading human faces. They are the main source of social information. When an uncanny face violates the deeply learned patterns stored in our memory, the brain registers it as an anomaly, something that defines everything we know. This causes a unique form of discomfort, as though the mind is seeing something it feels it should recognize, but simply cannot. Now we will look into some of the more unnerving theories behind why we feel this instinctual fear, and at the end, I'll explain the conclusion I personally come to. One of the most chilling theories is known as the predator detection theory. Human brains are exceptional at reading faces, especially threats hidden within faces. According to this hypothesis, the uncanny valley is not merely discomfort. It is an ancient alarm system designed to detect predators that mimic humans. Whether biological or something far stranger, any creature capable of imitating our appearance, but failing to do so perfectly, would have posed an enormous threat. Humans who recognize the subtle abnormalities would survive longer, passing down that instinctive fear. And this is where things take a turn for the worst. Across cultures, continents, and thousands of years, we find depictions of humanoid creatures that fit this pattern disturbingly well. Giants, skinwalkers, vampires, rakes, forest humanoids, shadow people, even the legendary Bigfoot. Whether folklore, mythology, or first-hand accounts, the descriptions often overlap. Almost human, but not quite. And these encounters aren't confined to the ancient past. They're still reported today. One of the most disturbing modern examples comes from North Carolina. A man driving down a rural road late at night called 911 in complete panic. I'll play the audio now.
Tennessee County 911, what's the address of your emergency?
I'm driving on 210. I just crossed the Black River, and I thought I saw a guy standing on the side of the road bleeding.
Okay, where are you at, sir?
I'm on 210. I just crossed the Black River. I'm heading towards 53 East. I just passed Patriots Watch.
Okay, so you're over near Morse Creek?
Yes.
And did you saw a man standing on the side of the road?
Yes, ma'am, and it looked like he was bleeding because when I drove by, I had my high beams on, and all I could see was just some streaks of red going down his body, starting at his head.
Okay, hold on. I'm trying to get exactly where you're at.
I'm kind of in the middle of the woods at the moment.
Yes, sir. I'm familiar with the area.
What the fuck?
What was that, sir?
That's not human! That's not human! There's something in the back of my truck!
The witness describes a tall, rake-like figure. He maintains to this day that what he saw was real. And reports of creatures resembling rakes stretch back centuries. This wasn't the first sighting, and it certainly won't be the last. I won't dive too deep into that case now, because it deserves its own video. But the point stands. Creatures that mimic humanity have been with us for as long as human history has been recorded, and they may be the reason this instinctual fear exists in the first place. But now I want to share something personal. A theory I've never heard anyone else discuss, although it is likely somewhere on the internet. This one is rooted in my own experiences. Before we get into it, I need to be honest about my past. Ever since I was a kid, I've experienced countless paranormal or demonic encounters, apparitions, objects moving on their own, sleep disturbances, and even physical attacks from something I still cannot explain. I don't expect anyone to believe me, and that's okay. Most people never experience anything like this in their lives. But I swear under any oath that what I'm saying is the truth. These events are the reason I started the channel in the first place. They sparked my obsession with horror, the unexplained, and anything that lives beyond the edge of modern science. This is one of my experiences. I won't go too in depth since this is very personal. When I was in middle school, one night I was trying to sleep when I heard a loud yell directly in my ear. So close, it was like someone was inches from my face. I jumped up expecting to see my younger brother, but no one was there. Everyone else in the house was in the living room watching TV. Still confused, I tried to shrug it off and went back to sleep, thinking nothing of it. Sometime around 1 to 3 a.m. I woke up again, and instantly felt something was wrong. I was facing the wall opposite to my bedroom door, which was lit faintly by the hallway light. That's when I saw it. A shadow, impossibly tall, slowly peering its head through the doorway into my room. Completely featureless. No hair, no ears, no nose, just a smooth, humanoid silhouette watching me. I still wonder to this day what I would have seen if I turned around to face the thing in the door, but maybe it's a good thing I didn't. At first I assumed it had to be sleep paralysis. I'd experienced it before, but when I moved my arm and then the rest of my body, I realized I wasn't paralyzed at all. That's when the dread hit. A type of fear so raw and overwhelming that nothing in my life has ever replicated it. It wasn't normal fear. It felt ancient, primal, like something my body recognized long before my mind could process it. And that feeling is exactly what I experienced when looking at Uncanny Valley images. Which brings me to my theory. I believe the Uncanny Valley may not simply be evolutionary or psychological. I believe it is a spiritual instinct, a built-in warning system reacting to demonic or malevolent non-human entities. Beings that imitate us, observe us, and have interacted with humanity for longer than history can record. The same feeling I got multiple times as a helpless child facing something malicious and inhuman is the same feeling the Uncanny Valley triggers today. It is the same signature of fear. And if that's true, then the Uncanny Valley isn't about images, robots, or imperfect animations. It might be our soul remembering something it was never supposed to forget. If the Uncanny Valley were just about robots or animation, the fear would disappear the moment we recognize the illusion. But it doesn't. Even when we consciously know something is fake, the reaction is still there. Automatic, primal, violent. It bypasses logic entirely. That's not how normal learned fears work. That's how survival instincts work. Every time I had encountered a malicious paranormal entity, including when I saw that featureless silhouette in my door as a kid, that overwhelming dread wasn't just fear of the unknown, it was recognition. The same feeling I get looking at uncanny images today, the same feeling countless witnesses describe when encountering humanoid entities. Maybe these beings didn't just inspire horror stories. Maybe our horror stories are fragments of cultural memory, warnings passed down subconsciously through generations. That leads me to my final conclusion. The Uncanny Valley is not about robots, it's not about psychology, it's not about animation flaws. It is the instinctive fear of something that once haunted us and is still here. A spiritual and biological alarm that activates the moment we see something wearing the shape of a human, but not the essence of one. A reminder that imitation is the oldest hunting strategy in the world, and whatever perfected that strategy didn't come from nature as we know it. If anything, it's still lurking in the dark, watching, learning, and waiting for us to look away. Whether the Uncanny Valley comes from evolution, predators, demons, or something far older, one thing is certain. Your fear exists for a reason. If you want more deep dives, let me know. Make sure to like the video, subscribe, and comment what topic I should cover next. Until then, stay alert, trust your instincts, and whatever you do, don't ignore the feeling, because something is certainly watching you. Until next time, friends.